Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I am back again with Troy.
Hello, how are you doing, Metal Jesus?
I am so glad to have you back on the channel.
Thanks for having me back. It's been a while.
It's been way too long.
All right.
It's been way too long.
Well, we're amending that today.
Absolutely. And so we're going to do a vinyl pickups video. Well, I don't know if it's all vinyl. Actually, not all mine is vinyl. I have a...
Mine's mostly all vinyl, but I do have a surprise for you.
Okay, very cool. And we do not know what each other are going to show. And so this is always really fun for me because I have no idea, and you don't either.
Nope, we didn't look at each other's stuff. And I brought the Metal Jesus Metal Militia coin.
Mine's upstairs.
To decide who goes first.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to call heads or tails? What's heads, by the way? That's heads?
Yeah,
Metal
probably.
Militia?
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
Heads. Call it. You're calling heads right off the bat.
Yeah.
It is tails.
It's you. All right.
Me. All right.
Dazzle me.
It's been like 10 months of
compiling
this.
Yeah.
All right, I have to start with this. It's just an absolute must because it was not cheap, and I've been waiting because I cleared the game as well. I'm opening up with a game.
Okay, a game.
It is the Cuphead box set.
Whoa, I don't think I've seen that.
Yep.
The exact version of it.
It is the entire soundtrack, and it's made to look,
dude, that
it's made to look like the old like records that come, like you get like old jazz records or something.
You know, it's funny, I've gone to estate sales and I've seen the actual, you know what I mean, those old school, like is it shellac or whatever it is?
Exactly, and it's made to look like the old records. There's 4 vinyl in this, and the people that they got to do the, I mean, they stayed so true to the 20s, 30s, animation, and even the music. They hired a whole like orchestra essentially, and they just did such a fantastic job with even the fonts. Everything's made to look like it's from the 30s,
and it looks even a little bit distressed, like it's kind of yellowed or old.
Yeah, exactly. And I just finally, like I said, finished Cuphead. I beat it.
Oh, you did?
I beat it.
Okay. How? And it
was literal hell. I mean, that's why you fight the devil at the end, because it's literal hell.
Oh, okay.
I think I died. I think it was in the it was close 1,000. It was crazy.
Wow, but you beat it though. I mean, not everyone can say that. You know.
I beat it on normal. I haven't beat and then all of a sudden you can. Yeah. But the music, really cool. The aesthetic of this game, I truly feel like it's one of the most original and most important games of our time.
Huh.
Yep.
All right. Well, cool.
There we go.
All right. Next up for me is an album I was so excited to get. I actually bought it twice. And for good reason. That is Dream Theater's Distance Over Time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a huge fan of Dream Theater, and it broke my heart their last release. It was called The Astonishing because it was their very first kind of mediocre album, and a lot of longtime fans like me were like, "Is their day over?" Thankfully, they came roaring back with this album. It's absolutely fantastic. Dream Theater is a progressive rock / metal band. They're a mix of Metallica, Pink Floyd, maybe a little bit of Meshuggah in there. You know, they're heavy. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
So this is the vinyl release, which I got first, and then just a couple months ago, they released the 5.1 Blu-ray version of the album as well.
I have to say, the album cover, having a robot holding a human skull.
It's cool, isn't it?
There's something psychologically, I love that.
And they're the kind of band where there's just so much going on as far as the arrangement and also the instrumentation that it really lends itself to a true surround sound release. So that's why I bought this, and it sounds fantastic down here. You just hear all sorts of new stuff because the guitars are over here and they're isolated, and it's so cool.
Amazing.
So I was very happy. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're going a little hard rock metal as we do. I have more game stuff, by the way. But now that you busted that out, I have to bust this out. And I got every studio album of Pantera.
Oh, dude! Wow.
In a box set, so it's all their studio albums.
Okay.
And a bonus 7-inch. And so, of course, there's a live album, and there's Southern Tranquil, there's Far Beyond Driven, of course, one of my favorites.
Vulgar Display of Power is a masterpiece.
Cowboys from Hell is what, obviously introduced me to Pantera.
Okay, cool.
But I also had their early stuff before they were on a major label. They had an album called Projects in the Jungle.
And Power
Metal.
Power Metal, that's
absolutely.
Right, yeah.
I actually have those on vinyl, but they're at my parents' place in the Midwest in an attic. because there was a time where I kind of left Pantera. I was like moving on.
Well,
I was 14 when I listened.
I mean, honestly, like, you know, when it comes to the releases, when it came time to the Great Southern Trendkill, I think this is an okay album.
Right.
I think a lot of people nowadays are actually appreciate it more than when it first came out.
Right.
It's not my favorite.
Same.
Drag the Waters is a great song. It's got some good tunes on there. And then, is this the live one? What is this? No, this is
or it's not live. It's a
Reinventing the Steel.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's interesting. And then what's the 7-inch? What is that?
The 7-inch is a so it's this song "Avoid the Light."
Okay.
Which was I don't know if it was ever released, but then this song "Piss."
Okay.
That is very in the world of Pantera fans. Like this was the coveted unreleased song.
Interesting, and it looks like it's colored yellow vinyl.
Well, it's piss.
Oh, of course. Of course. Awesome. Pantera, man.
Yeah.
I know. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it would be cool if they would re-release those early hair metal albums that they did, though. I don't know if there's a lot of interest in that.
I think that they're a little embarrassed by it, but
the
thing is, I actually kind of love them, and I'm an original Pantera fan. I mean, yes, I didn't catch on to them till Cowboys, but then again, their original albums were only locally popular in Texas. Huh. But I once again, I have those vinyl, and I bought them when I was 15. I found them at a flea market in South Dakota.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I was super lucky, and you know, long live Dimebag. You know.
All right, this next one is one of my favorite albums from the 1990s. It is a Seattle band. And they had one hit, and that was kind of it, and it's really unfortunate because this album they released, again, is one of my favorites. And that is the Posies, Frosting on a Beater. On the beaver.
Beaver. Frosting on the beaver.
On the beaver.
Do we have to bleep that out?
Have you heard this? You probably play this.
So, I forget what the hit is.
It's a Dream All Day.
Oh, yeah, and it kind of sounds like Don't Fear the Reaper.
Oh, interesting.
Dream all day, don't fear the Reaper.
Oh, interesting.
I always thought that when I heard it, but great song.
Yes.
Great band.
Great song, great band. This is a great album because it kind of goes all over the place. Dream All Day is definitely a very pop, kind of happy 90s song. But then they've got Burn and Shine, which is really dark, deep, slow.
Yep.
Coming Right Along is a song that, again, is like really kind of slow and moody. This album goes all over the gamut when it comes to emotions and styles of music. It's fantastic. This is a really cool release. It's a brand new release by them. I don't even think it originally came out on vinyl, but this is a... you'll see here, it actually plays at 45 RPM.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
okay.
And so the reason why they do that is because... if you play an album a little bit faster at 45 RPM, obviously there's more data per minute, and so in theory it should be a better sounding album. I listened to this last night again, and it sounds fantastic. But that's the reason why they had to stretch it to 2 albums to get it to fit. But,
absolutely.
But the Posies, man, this is a great little album.
Yeah, interesting fact, and I'm glad that you brought that up because Joe Bass, the bass player of the Posies, recently passed away. And in the last 7 or 8 years, I actually had become friends with his daughter, and she's so sweet and so nice. And she actually came onto my radio show when her father passed away, and we paid tribute to him. So
oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, it's just one of those kind of somewhat forgotten 90s Seattle bands. Yeah. So it's cool.
I love that. All right, so what I have next is a very interesting thing that was gifted to me by my girlfriend Audrey.
Okay.
Audrey works at Sub Pop Records, so she's very familiar with what all record labels are doing and what they're into. So there's a great record label called the Numero Group. Some people say Numero. I think it's Numero. They put out a soundtrack to a video game that they created. So it comes in this package where it comes with this 7-inch and this Nintendo-looking controller, but it's made by the record label, Numero.
Oh, okay.
And so the 7-inch is the soundtrack to their game, but you have to plug this into your computer to be able to... You can play the game, like, on your keyboard.
Oh, well, it's a USB. So
it's a USB, so you plug it in.
So it holds the game.
Yep, and then you can play on this... Nintendo controller.
Wow.
And it's an 8-bit looking game, looks like NES, and then they have their soundtrack, and it's called Synth City, because it's lots of synthesizer music.
Wow, dude, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So I really wanted to surprise you with that.
Damn,
and they did a good job of it.
Yeah,
it feels.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it feels like it. Yeah,
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can plug that into your computer, your laptop, whatever.
Yeah.
And then just go to their website, and then the game is available, and then you can use the Nintendo controller. And then also, this is the soundtrack to the game.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And they only made a few hundred of these.
Oh, of course, I'm sure.
Thankfully, my girlfriend was on top of it. She's like, I need to get this for Troy because it's going to sell out. And it did.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, next up for me is a, well, I'll just show it here. So, it's the big ol' Megadeth box set, Warheads on Foreheads.
Yes, which is a really funny name.
It's a really funny name. I guess I thought it was just kind of like a dumb name.
I mean, it's boneheaded, but at the same time, I guess it's kind of funny about it.
Well, I guess it's actually a legitimate military term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where he got it from. But it still sounds kind of silly.
Yeah.
So this is a best of celebrating 35 years of Megadeth. And what's really cool about this is that it's not just the hits. It's actually handpicked by Dave Mustaine to really cover their entire career. And it's 4 albums, so 8 sides, tons of music. And what I like about this is the same reason. Did you ever listen to or pick up Judas Priest's Metalworks?
Yes. Yeah, it's similar to that, right?
Very similar to that, where it's not just the hits, it's just a great snapshot of, because like there's already been greatest hits of Megadeth. We don't need another one.
Sure.
So this is kind of a really cool just walk down memory lane. So it even has
Beautiful Gray.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I've been listening to a lot of that.
Well, what I love too is that I can tell that it's chronological.
Yeah,
because they start with early stuff like Mechanics, which really Metallica took as what was it, Four Horsemen? Or,
yes.
Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
Killing Is My Business. So, and then it goes on, Devil's Island, which was.
But you notice it doesn't have Peace Sells on here. So again, he skipped that to put, because that's already been on a million hits before.
And then it goes into Rust in Peace era.
But then it even gets into like the newer stuff like Trust and
love it.
Yeah. So albums that I hadn't actually listened to a lot, some of the newer stuff, but it also has their most current stuff, which is Dystopia, which again is a great album.
Great album, yeah. And also Wake Up Dead, one of my favorite songs. Guitars,
The Conjuring, all that stuff.
Amazing. Okay, I love it, and kind of need this.
Yeah, and it's a nice quality box too. You can tell.
It really is.
I know.
It's beautiful. Warheads on Foreheads.
Warheads on Foreheads, dude.
All right, let's keep it. So that's Megadeth.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it metal.
All right.
Do you know this band?
Death, Leprosy. Yes.
First of all, the album cover alone.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal, isn't it?
This is, and then, classic.
I haven't listened to a lot of Death. And I need to listen to more.
This is so up your alley. I couldn't recommend anything more.
So, and you bought this recently for $8.
$8 at Easy Street Records.
Wow. This is one of them that I probably would have picked up on spot, especially for $8. That's amazing.
Incredible metal band. You have bands like the Big Four, Anthrax, Slayer, and then you have bands like Testament or Death Angel or this and that. But Death is like, it's almost like, kind of makes those bands sound a little poppier sometimes. So they're kind of one of those, but yet it's not like death metal. Yeah. It's just great metal. Yeah. One of my favorites.
All right.
I wanted to share
that album cover.
Yeah.
That's
something.
It's awesome. All right. Next up for me is well, I'll just show it here.
Right.
That is Ghost, and this is the live, I always forget what this is called, Ceremony and Devotion. This came out all of a sudden. Ghost is a band that is really taking off, becoming extremely popular, played, I think they're more popular than a lot of people expected them to be. And this is a live album that came out kind of out of nowhere. And so they've been kind of pumping out a lot of releases. But here's the thing with me and live albums. I don't like every live album because sometimes live albums aren't better than the original.
For sure.
And, or they're recorded kind of echoey or whatever. This sounds fantastic. This is a great live album. It's just I absolutely love it.
I love this inside picture.
Yeah, and they're a very visual band, and it comes with a little booklet in here with a bunch of the visuals. They talk about the tour, It's got every date in here. It's actually really cool. So,
did you see them recently?
I did.
Yeah.
The very first time. So, people have been telling me to go see Ghost for a long time, and it just never worked out.
You ghosted them.
Yeah, exactly. And so finally, I actually, my wife Rebecca, she bought the tickets and we went, and I tell you, they did not disappoint. They put on a hell of a show.
I can imagine, yeah.
And what was really interesting about this band too is because they're mostly known for the main singer, who is shrouded with this mask on, but the Nameless Ghouls, all the musicians also are unknown as well. What I didn't expect live is that the Nameless Ghouls interact in a great way. Like, it's not just the lead singer, it's not just Tobias, it's everybody puts on a show. And even though they have masks on, there's a lot of personality that comes through. It was a really surprisingly great show. We had a great time. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Ghost. It's awesome.
All right. I'm gonna bust this out. So here is
what the
the Rick and Morty box set.
Wow, what the
Put out by
hell?
Sub Pop Records here in Seattle.
You haven't cracked it open yet.
But no, because the great thing about it is it does this.
Oh, interesting. So that's kind of like, do you remember the Pink Floyd Pulse album?
Yeah.
Which had a battery in there? Yeah.
So it lights up like a dark green, and the packaging is just so amazing.
Yeah.
And also, tons of people love this show.
Yeah.
And I just, recently picked it up. So I thought I had to bring it because I know lots of people love Rick and Morty, but also the packaging of this, once we turn the lights down, you'll see how cool the lighting is on that.
So Rick and Morty is on Hulu, and for the longest time we didn't have Hulu, so I didn't see the show until recently, and it's a really funny show. It's definitely I've only watched probably about half of the first season, but I've heard it just gets even better and better, and crazier and crazier.
I mean, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
As can be. But I was just impressed with the packaging.
Man, that packaging is killer.
It's amazing. And once again, once we turn these lights down, I'll show you how cool it actually looks.
All right.
What do you got next?
Next up for me is a newer band called The Lazies. This is Tropical Hazards.
Never heard of this.
This made a bunch of best of albums from last year, so 2018.
Okay.
And essentially, it's a hard rock album similar to kind of like Airborne meets The Struts.
Okay.
So it's very guitar driven, very riff driven, that kind of growly sort of vocals, really catchy. I'll play you some. The moment that you hear it, you'll be like, okay, this is good music.
Okay.
But yeah, so I picked it up because it like I said, it made a bunch of top 10 lists last year, and yeah, it's fantastic. So good hard rock, not metal. It's just hard rock. Mm-hmm. It's something that you would probably hear on like 107.7 The End.
Okay.
That sort of stuff. But
sure.
I dig it. It's cool.
Awesome. The Lazies.
The Lazies.
All right, I'm in. All right, so the next thing I'm going to bust out is not necessarily vinyl.
Oh, okay. Cool.
In fact, it's not vinyl.
Okay.
But I had to bring it because I thought that you would find this like somewhat entertaining or interesting.
Okay.
Now, when I first show you this, you're going to go, what the hell and why?
Well, and some of these things I've already did that, yeah.
Okay, but this one is going to be the king of the mountain of why did you bring this?
Okay.
So, I'm just going to come right out and say, it's the soundtrack to the movie The Waterboy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to...
The Adam Sandler movie The Waterboy.
Which I've never seen the movie.
You don't need to. Okay. It is not one of the best movies ever.
Okay.
In fact, it might be on the lowest tier of...
He's made some stinkers in his day.
Yeah, well, this one's pretty bad.
Okay.
So, the reason I brought this to you, because I thought you would find this
interesting. And you paid $1 for it, by the way.
$1.
Yeah.
And I literally recently picked this up.
Okay.
So, it is a recent pickup.
What is like Steve Vai the...
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. So, backstory. I went to college in Florida for music recording. I wanted to become an engineer. I graduated in late 1999.
Oh my god, are you on this album?
So, no. I have nothing to do with any of the audio.
Okay, I'm trying to...
They were filming The Waterboy in Florida while I was going to school, and they had an open call for people. They needed people in the crowd at a football stadium for the final scene of The Waterboy.
Okay.
And I was like, we gotta go. Like, and we walk in, they hand us pom-poms. I'm just in the crowd. just like shaking pom-poms, and they're like, all right, everybody, through a megaphone, cheer, everybody, and it's like, cheer, and Adam Sandler's walking around with a cigar, and I was like, whoa, we're in a movie set.
It's like Hollywood.
Crazy, right? So when the movie came out, I was like, I wonder if we made it in the movie. And so we're watching the movie, and I was like, at the very end of the movie, it's like a split second the camera showed us, and I was like, oh my god, I think I saw us. That was about as great as it got, right?
Sure.
So years go by, forgot, didn't even care about it. It was like a fun thing that didn't really mean anything. Years go by, I'm working at Easy Street Records, and we'd buy used CDs from people. And so this lady brought in her stack of used CDs, and she brings in the Waterboy soundtrack. And I looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I told her, I was like, I actually went to the filming of this movie.
Yeah.
And so when you buy used CDs, you have to look at the CD to make sure it's in decent condition. Yeah. And then you give them, $1 or whatever it is. Yeah. Nowadays, it's, a quarter.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 cents. I opened it up, and to my surprise, the picture on the inside, that's me.
Oh.
That is me.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's me right behind my friend Nick. That's me holding up the... And I said to this lady, oh my gosh, that is me. And she looked at me. Imagine her sort of...
Yeah.
Like, she brought in this used CD.
Yeah.
And the person that's buying her CD is in the inside...
That is definitely... She's probably...
Yeah. But that's where I was. Me and my friend Nick. That was us.
I'm looking at... Okay, it's cool. I'm looking at the list of songs. They're not bad.
I haven't even looked at it.
Well, CCR, Goldfinger.
Oh, okay.
The Doors, Earth, Wind and Fire, Lenny... See, this
actually,
is not...
that's not terrible.
This is not terrible.
And here I am bringing this just to show me. I'm like, I'm in this. And I'm like,
no,
actually...
but see, here's the thing, though, is if you're going to be on the soundtrack and it's got CCR... It's got Rush.
It's got Rush.
It's got Rush.
And Candlebox, that's Seattle.
So that means you are on a Rush album.
Yes. This is as close as I will ever get to a Rush album. And there I am. I remember that shirt, and I wish I still had it.
Wow, you'll have to sign that.
I couldn't believe it. So I never knew.
Yeah.
All the years that this soundtrack existed, I'm actually in the photo.
Well, that's quite the story.
Yeah. What a sad claim to fame. I'm in the Waterboy soundtrack photo, and then I die. And then nobody, it's on my tombstone.
Yeah.
It's like, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody even cared about the movie.
That's so funny. No, I'd actually heard of the movie. I've never seen it, though.
Yeah.
So many of his movies, though, you're just like, he's got a handful of good ones back there.
Yeah. I just went because it sounded like a fun thing.
Oh, of course. All right, next up for me, this is a really cool one. This is the Arch Enemy release that came out this year.
Sweet.
And this is called Covered in Blood. And this is basically a compilation of Arch Enemy covering a bunch of people. And it goes back many, many years.
All covers?
It is.
Oh.
And so, as you can see here, they cover...
Well, they did Tears for Fears right off the bat?
Yeah, and it's a really badass version of Shout.
Love it.
Yeah, they also do... Mike Oldfield. What else? They do a bunch of punk covers from... I guess this is like a Swedish punk band.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah.
But then Scorpions, The Zoo, Europe. They do The Oath by Kiss. Now, if you are a hardcore Kiss fan, you know that... that comes off of one of their worst albums ever called The Elder.
I don't even know that album.
Yeah, most people don't, and it's hilarious that they covered one of the songs off of one of the worst Kiss albums.
Cool.
That song actually is pretty cool, but as you can see here, Dream Evil, Queensryche, Carcass, which I believe one of the members of this band was in for a while.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think that's actually...
They did Symphony of Destruction, Megadeth.
Yeah,
the Megadeth thing back.
And all of these are very much in that Arch Enemy kind of like... I don't know what you describe them as, kind of like thrash, very technical style.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a really cool release that came out this year that not a lot of people kind of picked up on, but I like it a lot. It's very different.
Great album cover again.
Very, very cool.
Love this. All right. Love it. All right. We just have 2 left each.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So I'm going to break out one of my favorite video games of all time, and also obviously soundtracks, but I have to bring out Castlevania Symphony.
Oh, wow.
Of the Night.
That looks almost like a Mondo. Okay, they do really good work.
They do such good work. I haven't even opened this thing yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's colored vinyl or not. I just got these. Were
these being sold at the radio station?
In Light in the Attic record store. Okay. Yeah, so they bring in. I have a feeling they're bringing in video game soundtracks just
because of you.
Yeah, because I'm always stocking up for our videos and also stuff that I want.
Yeah, sure.
But I do go look at it every so often and buy lots of the video game soundtracks from them because of our videos.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm asking, because that's not like a large store, but yet they always seem to have video game soundtracks in there.
Oh, it is.
Which is really cool.
Check it out.
Okay, of course.
Oh, it's got to be blood red, right?
Of course. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
and
Symphony
look
of
at
the
that
Night,
cover, too.
No, it's just beautiful.
It is really beautiful.
The game, I mean, it means a lot to my, childhood and past. But Symphony of the Night, Castlevania.
Fantastic.
Had to show it today.
Wow, cool. Okay. Next up for me is a album that I wanted to buy for a while. It's just because I had it as a kid, and that is Great White, Shot in the Dark.
Shot in the Dark.
And Great White is a band that, what do I say about these guys? I mean, they had their moment. You know what I mean? Like, they had a couple really great hits, and then for whatever reason, they're not held in as regard as, like, the Motley Crues and the Rats and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Same generation, though. But
Same generation, but for whatever reason, But this is one of my favorite albums by them. This one came out right before they put out the really big album. And I like this one because it's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more bluesy.
Oh.
It's just it's a fantastic album, and it's full of great songs, and it's getting a little bit hard to find. Like, Great White music is really interesting because if you go on like Spotify and Apple Music, they don't have all their albums on there for whatever reason. They're one of these bands that, again, has a handful of albums and then the greatest hits, but albums like this can be kind of hard to find. So getting it on vinyl, and it's an original release, is really a cool find for me.
So this was before the Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Yes, and yeah, absolutely. It's right before that, and so it's just a band that is kind of trying to figure out where its sound is, but I love it. It's got that.
He's holding the gun. That's amazing. just holding the gun. No big deal.
Yeah. I know.
And his name's Jack Russell.
Yeah, that's the lead singer, Jack Russell, right there.
Tragic what happened to them, though.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time when I see their name, of course. But
but
they worked so hard at what they did, and they were successful. Like, do you know how many musicians in the history of the earth have tried to be successful making music, and they did it?
Yeah.
They made it. They made it. It was sad what happened.
They did, and what he's referring to, for those who don't know, is that it was a fairly tragic thing that happened. That they basically played a show, I believe, in Long Island or somewhere back east, and because of the pyrotechnics in a small club, it caught on fire. I believe they were over capacity, and basically a lot of people died.
Yeah.
And there was,
including members of their crew and somebody from their band.
Yeah, and so it was just a really bad situation, and they never quite recovered from that. And
yeah,
I don't know. So even today, people are very sensitive about it and very upset, obviously, about it. So it's just But anyways, the music, though, I really dig.
Once again, that's what I'm saying, is that they do have a success. Even with like a bit of a tragic story that happened to them, they have a lot of success, and like they were a great band.
They were, and they're also too. They are really known for their covers as well. They're one of the few bands that could cover Led Zeppelin in a very non-ironic way. They were able to do note for note awesome covers of just amazing Led Zeppelin songs and other bands too, and so that's not easy to do. You have to be a good musician to do so.
Totally.
Yeah, I was happy to
love that. All right, I need to listen to that. All right, so this is my last one. Another one I haven't opened yet, but I'll open it. But I'm going a little game heavy today.
Okay.
I've brought out some metal, but I have to talk about Journey.
Oh, dude, I love this game.
And this game was like a dream.
Yeah.
It feels like a dream.
Yep.
The soundtrack is like a dream. It was actually nominated for it was a Grammy. The soundtrack to this. It's just an incredible game soundtrack.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this is a game that is just so memorable, and for reasons that are kind of hard to pinpoint because it's only 2 hours long. It's really more of an experience.
Yeah.
It's just really kind of exploring the environment and kind of there's no direct plot or dialogue in the game, but it has this mechanic what I absolutely love is that it'll pair you up with somebody else randomly as you're playing it, and it may not even be the same person through PlayStation Network, and then you kind of go through it and you talk to each other in beeps and boops and twerks and stuff like that. It is so cool, and then by the end of it, it's just you've gone on a journey. You know what I mean? It's just it's a beautiful game. It's awesome.
It feels like a dream, choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
It's almost like living inside of a book. And once again, I haven't opened this thing.
And the game beautifully in those 2 hours goes from like sunny, outside,
like desert,
and to indoor where it's dark and scary. To it's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't opened. Oh! It gets even better.
Oh, okay, so it's a picture disc. That's cool.
I did not know this.
Huh. Wow, that is really cool.
All right. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. I mean, I just bought these.
Okay, and each side is unique.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. All right.
I'm into it.
Just of all your releases.
Yeah. Well, I am yours, so.
Okay.
All right, we did it.
My last one is related to the previous one. And that is that, speaking of Great White, you mentioned Jack Russell. This is Jack Russell's Great White. Is
this him on his own?
This is a brand new release.
Wow.
And a couple things about this is that you mentioned the fire and all that. Well, that kind of broke up the band. And so what a lot of bands in the 80s do is they fight over the name because the name has value, right? Nobody really... I shouldn't say nobody. Most people don't know who Jack Russell is, but they know who Great White is.
Yes.
And so that's why it says Jack Russell's Great White, because he's the only person on here. However, the reason why I picked it up and why I want to show it to you guys is because it's fantastic. Like, I'm very skeptical when it comes to newer 80s metal bands.
For sure.
Because it often doesn't recapture the glory. This album's awesome. And I was really blown away by it.
I love that you ended this with a 1-2 punch of Great White.
Yeah, I know!
Going with the history, and now here's where we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially their tragedy, and there's still things rising from the ashes.
And I was, really blown away by this album. If you are even remotely a fan of the 80s or Great White as a band, you definitely have to check it out. It blew me away, and his voice has not aged at all. Like, he still sounds like he did on the 80s, and there's a bunch of energy on this album, a lot of different kind of songs. So yeah, I was very happy to get this. I think I had to get that as an import though, on vinyl. It's really easy to get on Spotify and stuff, but I wanted the vinyl because when I discover an album like this and I'm like, okay, I need to own it, that you know what I mean, it's like it needs to be part of my collection, and that's how I got this.
Can this be the record we listen to while we film B-roll?
We'll have to check it out. I think you'll be impressed
because we have some B-roll footage to film right now.
Well, dude, that went so fast.
It is great. I love that.
I know.
I love sharing music, our vinyl pickups.
Yes.
Maybe we turn people on to some bands or albums that they haven't heard, or some video game soundtracks they haven't heard, and that's what I love about these videos. So.
Yeah, me too. I know, definitely. Yeah. I learn from it. And also, it always fills up with comments of people who are also collecting and finding, discovering stuff too. So it's really fun. So.
Absolutely.
All right, dude. Where can people find you on the internet?
I don't know. I'm just on the internet.com.
No, he is actually being modest. He is on the best radio station in all of Seattle, and I say that because it's true.
Oh,
I was thinking about this last night.
Yeah.
People don't realize that in many parts of the country, and possibly the world, that their radio stations are programmed by big corporations.
Yeah.
And he works for a radio station that is programmed by listeners.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah,
you can actually text, and they may or may not play with you, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's completely listener powered, listener funded, and we have a lot of freedom as DJs. So we have human beings programming your music in real time.
Yeah,
there's a human being there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, instead of algorithms, or instead of
playing the same 5 songs every hour,
or somebody pushing what's popular onto you. It's human beings. And we have a lot of DJs there, a lot of great DJs who take great care into the station. So,
and in the last year, you have actually been taking more and more airtime.
There's been it's been a lot. Yeah,
cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and I enjoy doing it. And I just love sharing new music with people, but also bringing old music that maybe you haven't heard, or even if you have, you're like, oh, I haven't heard that song in a while, thank you, or I don't know that song. And actually, my dream is just people Shazam the hell out of all my radio shows, or follow the KEXP app, or whatever. But
it's awesome. Actually, I noticed that KEXP is also on my Apple TV.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
It's streaming there too.
If you ever hear me, does it feel like we're hanging out a little bit?
Well, it's weird because obviously, you're in my car, and then
I've been in your car.
I know, and then I always want to text you the weirdest thing. Actually, the other day, I was this close to texting you. I was like, what won't he play?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know of anything you won't play.
It's true, because I'll even do something for a little bit for a joke if it's like not something I want to play. But like, I even played Rick Astley. Like, I rickrolled listeners.
Oh, you did? You?
Never gonna give you up. I mean, I played like 10 seconds. But I'll even do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, people text me all the time, so you're always welcome to text me. Okay. You're one of the few people you can actually text my actual phone. You and your wife, you and Rebecca.
That's true, and my wife does. Yes,
and she does, and I play because she always wants to hear William Shatner's version.
And
of Common People.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I was actually gonna. I wanted to hear the song just because I think it's awesome.
It is.
No, is the one I was gonna text you.
Oh.
What was going to be Flock of Seagulls, Space Age Love Song.
I don't know that song.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I mean, I love Flock of Seagulls, but I don't know that song.
Yeah, it's not Iran because that's overplayed, but Space Age Love Song by Flock of Seagulls, same album, is so good.
Okay.
So
I'm in. I'll do it for you.
I'll text you.
How about on your birthday?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
When's your birthday, by the way?
Soon.
All right.
That's all I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're not going to put it out there?
No. All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Awesome as always. Yes. All right, thanks guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Take care.